Hi, dear fans, friends, and subscribers of Cricket Happenings. This is your host Ram welcoming you to your daily cricket show, Cricket Happenings, today. And on this Cricket Happenings show, I'm going to preview the Test series which is coming up uh, between England and South Africa. It's going to be a mouth-watering contest, no doubt about it. Even though I don't think one should be reading from the lines that because South Africa suffered. So just wanting to tell you, this is going to do a brief preview of the Test series and also the first Test match which is coming up on the traditional Boxing Day Test matches which takes place. We know there will be two Boxing Day Test matches. Also, there's going to be some ODIs being played, but right now the focus will be today on previewing the first Test match of the series, which is coming up between South Africa and England. And as I said, you can't get a more mouth-watering proposition than what we are supposed to get on Boxing Day at Kingsmead in Durban. So just keeping the preview going here. Well, as far as I said, it's pretty early to really read from the lines that South Africa probably suffered their worst ever whitewash against India in India, and that was after a gap of 9 years that they had lost overseas. And that was a pretty disappointing performance from South Africa, considering that the might they had with their batting and bowling. Yes, they had some injury problems. Vernon Philander was not there, but I would say that it's pretty early to read between the lines here because and really dismiss them. Well, South Africa, let us understand one thing here that South Africa are playing on the home ground. And also, one more thing that one would be tempted is that England, after coming here, they have played two matches. The one match was pretty one-sided. We all know that, with the storm coming in and stopping it. But the match that they played against South Africa A, they humiliated the South African A side. And South African A side is a bunch of Test hopefuls, and that was a stunning performance from England. But again, as I said, one should not be reading between the lines here. The South Africa are a very, very strong team. Let's understand one thing here. This is a full-strength South African team. Yes, they definitely lost one I would say one arrow in their bow, and that is Vernon Philander, who is a very good bowler under the South African conditions with some very good swing bowling. He's sorely missed, no doubt about it. He was missed in India too. But let's look at Dale Steyn. Now, Dale Steyn and Morne Merkel, the customary opening pace pair would operate. But Dale Steyn, let me tell you, he missed certain matches in India. But let me tell you, Dale Steyn, to me, would be smoking on all cylinders when he's going to be bowling at the Kingsmead in Durban. And let's say Dale Steyn, well, we all know what a wonderful bowler he is. In fact, his record against England and Australia has been really stupendous. And Dale Steyn, let me tell you, he would be really ramping up his pace when he's bowling. As I said, Dale Steyn is going to be a very tough customer, no doubt about it. He loves bowling at those opposition there. And then his partner, now Morne Merkel on Indian tracks, was extracting tremendous pace and bounce. And I mean, if you can actually extract pace and bounce from tracks in India, subcontinental conditions, on such hard tracks like stony tracks, I think Morne Merkel, I think he's a much improved bowler. I mean, we all know he's a good bowler, but what I really saw in Morne Merkel was that he was willing to go, he was raring to go, and he was bowling in the right areas. Now, that's what one would expect from Morne Merkel when he's hunting as an opening pace pair with Dale Steyn at the other end. And Morne Merkel, to me, would definitely going to prove a serious threat to England here. Because, as I said, on subcontinent conditions in India, he extracted extreme pace and bounce. And on conditions in South Africa, which is ideally suited to him, with more pace and bounce which is already there in the pitch, I think Mone Morkel is going to be, for me, he's going to be one hell of a threat for England. In fact, England, I would say, watch out there for Mone Morkel with his pace and bounce on South African tracks, especially considering the fact that on Indian tracks he was generating extreme pace and bounce. So that is one thing. And the bowling would be in the hands of Kyle Abbott. Now, one has to see whether it's going to be Kyle Abbott or Kagiso Rabada. But Kyle Abbott, one would remember on South African conditions, I think it was against Pakistan, he probably took 7 wickets. So Kyle Abbott, they might be tempted to play in Kyle Abbott. The spin would be in the hands of Dan Peat, who did well against India in the only match he played. The right-arm off spinner was impressive. And so there's no place for Imran Tahir, I reckon, here. Let's have a look at the batting. Now, definitely the bowling, as I said, for me, Dale Steyn and Mone Morkel is looking very, very strong for me. As far as the South African batting is concerned, well, the batting, one would say probably there is a bit of some inexperience, but not as much, I would say, because they still have some good players like Hashim Amla. Hashim Amla definitely not in the peak of form, and that's what South Africa will be expecting from him. They want Hashim Amla to score a lot of runs, and that's what one is expecting from Hashim Amla. Du Plessis was already been named as the T20 Player of the Year. Now Du Plessis is one we all know what he can do. He can wear down the bowling in test matches, and he can also attack at the same time. So Du Plessis is another one to be watched for. AB de Villiers, there's nothing to say. He's a wicket keeper. He's everything for South Africa. And AB de Villiers always a threat to any opposition in the world. And then we have JP Duminy will be coming in the middle order, and then Temba Bowman. Now Steyn Van Zyl and Dean Elgar would be opening the innings. So the South Africans, even though Steyn Van Zyl didn't have a good outing against India, I'm sure Steyn Van Zyl, they still have, they still feel that Steyn Van Zyl is someone who could be persisted with. So Steyn Van Zyl, he already has 1 century against West Indies, I reckon. And Dean Elgar, well, he has already done his bit. He has already proved himself. But Dean Elgar, we saw that on Indian tracks, on turning tracks, he was the one who was actually taking the wickets. In fact, he surprised everybody on the first day of the first test match when he picked up, I think, 3 or 4 wickets. So Dean Elgar, so he would have one ace up his sleeve, and that is his bowling. So he could be used as probably he's the left-arm spinner. So along with Dane Peat, he could be used. And JP Duminy is also there. So Dean Elgar is one they will be expecting definitely and expecting a solid foundation from him as far as batting is concerned. So Steyn Van Zyl and Dean Elgar would be the ones who would be opening the innings. So looking at it, I think South Africa, as I said, you can't read between the lines here, even though South Africa have been struggling, and I think this is going to be a different ball game altogether when the first test match on Boxing Day, on the traditional Boxing Day test match at Kingsmead in Durban takes place. So that is as far as South Africa are concerned. So let's have a look at the England team here. Now England team, absolutely, I would say confidence is oozing from all, from all parts of the team there, because everyone are looking, everyone are looking pretty sharp. England definitely would be very happy that they humiliated the South African team, which raised a lot of questions into the South African selection there. But as far as England are concerned, they are coming up on some very good performances, especially in T20. They have been roaring. They beat Pakistan, United Arab Emirates, and as yesterday I said in my preview, this England bunch, as far as T20 is concerned, is looking a very exciting bunch of cricketers, young and sharp, I would say. And let's have a look at it now. For England, one problem that they are facing on the eve of the Test match is pretty sad. That their prime strike bowler James Anderson, with a calf injury, is out of the first Test match. So probably one is hoping. I would, as I said, this is a mouth-watering contest. So I wanted James Anderson to be a part of the England team, because I thought James Anderson and Stuart Broad are the ones who really form a formidable combination as far as the opening bowlers are concerned. And England, I think, definitely very crippled by the absence of James Anderson, no doubt about it. Especially James Anderson would have loved to bowl on this Kingsmead in Durban, where pace and bouncy pitches and pace bowlers relish bowling in South Africa, no doubt about it. Stuart Broad, you would remember that against Australia, James Anderson was not there in the team, and one knows what damage Stuart Broad did to the Australian team by taking up the mantle. Whether he can do the same to the South Africans here in South Africa. So that is something that will be keenly looked at, and Broad will have an additional responsibility. And Broad will be partnered by Stephen Finn, who is looking pretty sharp with his bowling. He has been picking up the wickets. He has been bowling in the right area. So he is one who would be ready to go. So Stephen Finn is getting an opportunity here to share the new ball with Stuart Broad. I would definitely say it should be Stephen Finn, because, and Stephen Finn, let me tell you, he adds an extra zest to his bowling there in South Africa particularly, because he's already tall and he generates some natural bounce, and on South African wickets with pitch really pacey and bouncy, I think he would be really getting this ball onto the ribs of the South African batsman. And I think Stephen Finn is getting an opportunity here in the absence of James Anderson to prove something here. So Stephen Finn and Stuart Broad would be expected to actually provide the breakthroughs, and then Chris Wokes would come in and join them, who is a much improved bowler now and is slowly trying to find his feet for England, I would say, as far as his bowling is concerned. And looking at the batting is one, to me, is the real forte for England. They are very strong in the batting arena. Alistair Cook is coming on the heels of a century. Alex Sales, well, he definitely didn't do well, but he has to know where his off stump is, because his judgment of the off stump has been a bit awry. That is the one which really got his wicket in those matches, as one would see in the tour of South Africa. The two matches that he failed, his off stump was something which was knocked out. So Alex Sales would be pretty aware about where his off stump is. He has to be very careful on the corridor around the off stump now, and also his judgment has to be pinpoint. But Alex Sales, let me tell you, is a very good batsman. So Alistair Cook and Alex Sales will be opening the innings. Nick Compton is back. So Nick Compton is making a comeback after quite a long time, and Nick Compton is an ideal test batsman. He likes to sit there and really have a look at the bowlers, wear the bowlers out, and score probably big centuries there. So Joe Root, well, we all know he's a world-class batsman. So definitely the England batsman is looking pretty solid and organised. Joe Root is coming in at number 4. James Taylor is also looking good. Of late, he has been scoring a lot of runs, so he's the another one who is there. And then Ben Stokes, the all-rounder, an exciting all-rounder who can really turn the match upside down in the probably in the Ian Botham way. Johnny Barrister is the wicketkeeper, and he will also be a very useful batsman lower down the order. And Moeen Ali is coming after taking 6 wickets in that game against South Africa. So he is also will be playing with lots of confidence, and also we know that his batting is also something which is a very useful thing. And Moeen Ali will also be thinking that this pitch in Durban, which probably one says that it is hard and dry, but it could break up a little with this sun coming and shining and probably drying. And we all know when the pitch starts drying up, what it does it basically starts breaking, and that is where the spinners really come into the picture there. So Moeen Ali might be another one, and also the South African off spinners would also have a chance. But all in all, I think we are going to have a mouth-watering contest, but I definitely feel that James Anderson is going to be sorely missed, because I wanted James Anderson to be there so that both the teams can really play at full strength. Well, if you look at James Anderson, we also know that South Africa are going to miss Vernon Philander. But Evan, I wouldn't say it's even Steven, because you know James Anderson is streets ahead of Vernon Philander as far as pace bowling is concerned, because Vernon Philander has played less number of matches, but James Anderson is already gone on to great records. He also broken the Ian Botham record as far as wickets are concerned in the Test tally. So he's looking. I mean, so I think if Anderson would have been there, that would have been great. But unfortunately, he's not a part of the team due to the injury. But whatever it is, the Boxing Day Test matches, according to me, this is the Boxing Day Test match that everyone is waiting for, and one hopes that this Boxing Day Test match really goes in the way that a Boxing Day Test match has to go. So that is as far as the preview between England and South Africa is concerned, or the first Test match, which is coming up on Boxing Day, 26 December, at the Kingsmead pitch in Durban. So that is the curtain raiser there as far as the first Test match is concerned of the series. And then now I'm going to have a look at some very, very short cricket news. As far as cricket news is concerned, the news that I have as far as the cricket news, world is concerned is that there are two one-day. As you know, the Test matches between Sri Lanka and New Zealand are done and dusted, and now the focus will be on the ODIs, where Sri Lanka and New Zealand will be clashing. And the news that I have here from Sri Lanka says that Lasith Malinga wouldn't be playing the first two ODIs against New Zealand. The other news that I have here is that Mohammad Amir from Pakistan is actually trying to. The Pakistan Cricket Board has already given a green signal to Mohammad Amir that he can be considered for national selection. But there are certain players who feel that Amir is wrong. We know Mohammad Hafiz did it in the BPL. Azhar Ali is the next one to join. Was said. In fact, they had avoided the camp since Amir was selected in the camp by the Pakistan Cricket Board. Now that is something which is raising a bit of questions here. Probably they feel that integrity is something. I can understand that. And also, let me tell you, Zimbabwe and Afghanistan are going to play in a neutral territory. Afghanistan and Zimbabwe are going to play T20s and one-day internationals, and the first ODI is starting today in Sharjah. So I'm not going to get into a preview of that, but definitely I think there's another Boxing Day Test match which is coming up. That is between Australia versus West Indies, and I'll be there to do a preview of that Boxing Day Test match tomorrow. Till such time, I see you, dear fans, friends and subscribers, doing the next preview tomorrow, next preview of the Boxing Day Test match between Australia and